Hi everyone, it's Jake and Emma.
So today we're going to be talking about NYU.
The NYU admissions decisions were just released this last Thursday, so we thought now might be a good time to make a video that would answer some basic questions that most people might have about NYU before they come.
So we're dividing this up into three categories: social life, money, and academics.
This is going to be a very general information video for someone who might not know that much about NYU but just got accepted.
So let's jump right in!
So the first thing we're going to talk about is social life at NYU, which is what I was really concerned about when I was applying. I was concerned about other things too, but NYU is such a different school than like a state school. I was worried about like how am I going to meet the cool people at NYU? And the good news is there are no cool people at NYU.
Just kidding, there are cool people. Coming from Finland, I was a little bit worried about making friends at NYU and if it would be very different from how it is back home.
But there are lots of great resources where you can meet people before you even get here. Each NYU class has a big Facebook page where people can meet each other, and then once you get to NYU, there's also a ton of infrastructure in place to make sure that you make friends while you're here, because New York can be a pretty lonely city.
One way to make friends and be part of community is through your residence halls.
Like, NYU doesn't have dorms, NYU has residence halls. And I know that sounds kind of silly to make a distinction, but a residence hall is so much more than a place where you go to sleep. It's like a community. There are tons of events that are planned through the residence hall. Almost all of them have cool facilities like game rooms and lounges, and some of them have gyms.
Some of them have piano rooms and dance studios.
So there are a ton of resources available in your residence hall, which makes them a really cool place to live. But on top of all of that, there's also a lot of community building that goes on.
We actually met each other because we lived on the same floor. We lived on an exploration floor, which is a special type of floor. Each NYU residence hall has one or multiple of these. Exploration floors are themed floors. For instance, we lived on the Big Apple Big Screen floor, which is a film theme.
Basically, these floors are the same cost as all the other floors. You just have to apply to live on them, and you have to write like 3 essays, but really it's more like a paragraph. And most people who apply to them get on the floor. And basically it's a floor that's centered around a common interest. And since we were on the film floor, our floor had a much larger budget than the other floors in our residence hall, and NYU basically paid for us to go watch movies, which was really cool.
Yeah, it was also cool because we got to meet a bunch of film students, and if we hadn't been on that floor, I don't think I had really been exposed to that part of NYU.
And we wouldn't have met each other. So the next thing a lot of people wonder about with social life is parties.
Basically, whatever you're interested in, you can find it at NYU, because NYU is in New York, and New York basically has all the resources you can think of.
We're just like a traditional school. There is Greek life here, even though it's not as prevalent as it might be at a state school. There are parties here.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about NYU is that you can really customize the experience you have. But the important thing is to actively look for the things you're interested in, because they're not just going to come flying at you. You have everything available to make your life what you want it to be.
Another thing a lot of people wonder about, I guess this is a social thing, eating is social for me, but NYU dining halls are amazing. They're probably some of the best in the country.
Yeah, I'm not on a meal plan this year, and I have missed going to the dining halls.
There are like 10 or so dining halls, and they all have like a different feel or flavor. One of our dining halls has one of 2 Chick-fil-A's in Manhattan, which is really cool, especially if you're from the South.
Another thing people are really interested in when they go to college is clubs. Every semester we have this thing called Club Fest where you can go and have a look at each of the clubs that NYU has, and there's a huge variety of things you can join. For example, we have a cheese club.
There's a cookies and milk club. As you can tell, we like the clubs that are oriented around food,
yeah.
But pretty much anything that you can think of is available, and if it's not available, you can start your own. One of my friends here actually started the Rubik's Cube Club.
So now that we've talked about all the resources NYU has to offer,
we're going to talk about how you have to pay for them. Money is a big thing that a lot of people have questions about when they choose a school like NYU. It's a private institution, it's a giant research university, it's in the middle of Manhattan, so it's going to be pretty expensive. And by pretty, I mean very. The good news is NYU actually gives out quite a bit of financial aid. Emma and I both get pretty good financial aid packages or we wouldn't be here. And all of that is need-based. So you will send in your FAFSA and your CSS profile, and NYU will determine how much money they're going to give you. The good news, part 2, is that NYU considers you automatically for all of its merit-based scholarships as soon as you apply to the school. So there's not a separate application. You don't have to be invited to apply for scholarships like at a lot of other universities. Your application to NYU is also your application to every NYU scholarship. But the bad news is fewer than 1% of students get merit-based NYU scholarships, and that's just how it is. They're very, very competitive, and the chances of getting one are pretty small.
So we encourage you to apply to a lot of outside scholarships and get any financial help that you can outside of NYU before coming here.
Another good thing is that NYU offers a lot of on-campus jobs. I'm an admissions ambassador for NYU, so I answer the phones for undergraduate admissions and I give tours. So maybe if one of you come take the NYU tour, I might be your tour guide. That'd be pretty fun.
And I'm gonna be an RA next year, so maybe one of you will be my resident.
Good luck. So if you're interested in getting an on-campus job or a job through NYU, that's definitely possible. We also have friends who work outside of the university system. So getting a job and juggling it with school is kind of hard, but it's definitely doable.
Okay, so now that we've talked about the scary topic of money, we're gonna move on to academics.
The equally scary topic.
So Jake and I have very different academic days. He's a drama major in Tisch, the School of the Arts, if you didn't know. And I'm a neuroscience major in CAS on the pre-med track. So while I'm in lab mixing chemicals together, Jake is
dancing my heart out.
Yeah.
So our days are very different and we're focusing on different types of training. My days are super, super crazy long. I wake up at 7 a.m. and on my studio days I have studio from 8 to 6, which is a bit of a bear.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's all drama stuff, so it's like dancing and acting classes and voice and speech classes. And hopefully we'll get to make a video one day that gives you a little more detail about these programs.
Jake has a lot more class time than I do. I'm in my classes much less frequently, but I have a lot of homework and studying that kind of makes up for the time that I'm not in class. So yeah, we both have exhausting schedules, but in different ways.
And that's kind of a recurring theme at NYU because the school is actually broken up into several different schools. So you've got the College of Arts and Science, which is what Emma's in, and the College of Arts and Science has everything. It houses pre-med, and it houses language degrees.
Everything that you could expect of a university.
Yeah, all the standard majors are
Yeah.
mostly in the College of Arts and Science. And then you have I'm in the Tisch School of the Arts, which is drama and dance and film. And so that's pretty self-explanatory too. But then we have other schools like the Steinhardt School of Culture, the Stern School of Business. So your days are going to be very different depending on which of these schools you go to.
Yeah, and your requirements are going to be different. Each school has a core program or core requirements that you need to take. In CAS, you have things like you need to take an expressive cultures class, text and ideas, writing the essay, natural science, foreign language requirement.
CAS has a lot of requirements.
Yeah.
Tisch doesn't have that many requirements. But so your days are definitely going to be different depending on which school you're in. But the good thing is NYU is a liberal arts university, so there is going to be some overlap between these different majors. They're making sure that we get a well-rounded education. For instance, I'm in conservatory training for drama, but I also have academic days where I take theory-based classes to make sure that I'm still being stimulated academically instead of just doing drama 24/7.
One of the things I really like about NYU is that there are so many different courses available. I mean, I think there was one course about ramen noodles or something like that. So if you feel like you need to kind of explore your interests, there's definitely a lot of room to do that.
And you can double major, you can cross-school major, so I could double major in CAS if I wanted to pursue a degree there, which is really nice. I don't.
So basically that's all the general stuff about NYU, but the main point in all of this is that at NYU, you kind of build your own experience.
So yeah, no matter where you go to college, it's going to be what you make it. And here you're definitely encouraged to take the reins of your own destiny and find the things you're interested in and pursue those things because there is so much available through this school and through this city. And it's a really great place to go to school.
If you have any more questions, let us know and we'll address them.
We're also doing a personal Q&A video because we've had a lot of questions on our other videos asking stuff about how Emma grew up and mostly about Emma. But we're going to be doing a Q&A, which will probably be our next video. So if you have any personal questions for us, make sure to leave those in the comments below. You can also leave them on our Instagrams or Snapchat them to us. All the links to our social media is below, so if you haven't followed us there, go ahead and do that too.
Thanks for watching.
Kitos, hey!